In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on December 30th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Philadelphia 76ers versus Memphis Grizzlies. Philadelphia is already without Kelly Oubre Jr. and Trendon Watford, and Joel Embiid is sitting in that annoying gray area as questionable for this one. Memphis has its own laundry list, with Vince Williams Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Brandon Clark, and Zach Edey all ruled out, so neither side is exactly fresh and healthy coming in. The market is treating Memphis as a short home dog, but the matchup itself feels almost like a coin flip. Sixers at 16-14 and Grizzlies at 15-17 tells you there is no huge gap in overall performance to explain away. You are basically weighing tiny edges rather than some clear mismatch. Here is the thing, Memphis looks a lot worse on paper than they actually are because that early stretch without Ja Morant drags down their full season profile. Recent form paints a better picture than the raw record, and this is not the same version of the Grizzlies that stumbled around back in November. They slipped against the Wizards, and that one game has probably spooked the market a bit, which is classic recency bias wrapped in public money. That creates a chance to buy low on a team that has genuinely been playing better basketball lately. On top of that, FedEx Forum can get loud when the crowd smells a winnable game, and that kind of energy often matters more in these toss-up spots than people want to admit. Philadelphia could really use a result here to steady their season, but if Embiid sits or is limited, that is a massive blow to how they match up physically and emotionally. Memphis is still dealing with a long injury list, but that has almost become their normal operating mode over the past few seasons, and they have learned how to function in that chaos instead of folding. So even though it is a tough call, the combination of improved recent form, a short home number, and a strong home crowd leans the value slightly toward the Grizzlies' side for me. As our first pick for this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Philadelphia 76ers are averaging 115.7 points on 44.5% shooting and allowing 115.6 points on 46.4% shooting. They are hitting 35.8% from 3, knocking down 81.7% of their free throws, and holding opponents to 34.4% from deep while grabbing 44.9 rebounds per game. On the other side, the Memphis Grizzlies are averaging 115.3 points on 45.4% shooting and allowing 115.8 points on 46.5% shooting. They are shooting 35% from beyond the arc and 79.7% from the line, while allowing 36.3% from 3 and pulling in 45 rebounds per game. So you have two teams scoring in the mid-100s, shooting in similar ranges, and rebounding at nearly the same clip, which sets up a fairly balanced scoring environment rather than something wildly lopsided. The total is sitting in the low 230s, which implies a game with plenty of possessions and a decent amount of volatility in how the scoring could swing. But with both defenses allowing percentages in the mid-40s from the field and the mid-30s from 3, it is not a pure track meet profile either. You can easily get stretches where shots dry up, especially if rotations get strange because of all the injuries or if one of the stars is compromised and the offense drifts into more isolation and fewer easy looks. That kind of game script, with occasional scoring lulls baked into an otherwise lively pace, often leans toward a total landing under a high number rather than sailing well over it. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston Celtics versus Utah Jazz. These are two teams coming in feeling pretty good about themselves. Boston has taken 8 of its last 11 games, even if Portland just clipped them in their most recent outing. One loss like that usually does not shake a group that has been humming on both ends, and it sets up nicely for a bounce-back effort against Utah. The Jazz, for their part, are not exactly rolling over. They just stacked big wins over Detroit and San Antonio, which always helps the mood in the locker room and in the stands. The issue has been the same story all season: flashes of quality followed by stretches where the level drops, and that inconsistency is a big reason they are sitting outside the playoff picture right now. Here is the thing: Boston's calling card has been how steady they are on both offense and defense. They might have the occasional off night, every team does, but their baseline level is high, and they rarely completely fall apart on either side of the ball. Utah, on the other hand, has one of the weakest defenses in the league, and that does not magically improve just because they are playing at home. If anything, that building can turn a bit sour when opponents start getting clean looks possession after possession. You also have some trends that quietly support the road favorite angle. Utah is 4-9 against the spread when playing on just one day of rest, which hints that their energy and focus can dip when the schedule tightens even a little. Boston is 9-7 against the spread on the road, which is not perfect, but it does show they travel reasonably well and can handle hostile environments when they are expected to perform. Put all that together, recent form, defensive gaps, and those situational numbers, and backing Boston to handle business and stretch out a margin makes plenty of sense here. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. They have been one of the fastest teams in the league this season, sitting third in pace, and they use their youth to push the ball in transition and attack early in the shot clock. That kind of tempo naturally creates more possessions, more shots, and more chances for runs where the score suddenly jumps. Defensively, the Jazz have had a rough go. They are sitting as the second worst defense, and that leaky profile is almost an open invitation for an efficient opponent to find easy looks all night. Boston, with a top 5 offense, is exactly the type of group that can read those cracks, move the ball, and turn them into high-quality attempts rather than forcing tough ones. So you have a fast team that struggles to get stops, facing an elite attack that can fully exploit that rhythm. The trends match that story too. The over is 14-4 when Utah plays at home, which speaks to how their combination of pace and weak defense tends to inflate totals in their own building. The over is also 12-7 when Utah comes off a win, which suggests that when they are feeling good and confident, the games often tilt toward more scoring rather than less. With all of that, quick tempo, bad defense, and a high-powered opponent offense, it makes sense to expect plenty of points and a total that has a good chance of landing above the projected number. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Pistons versus Los Angeles Lakers. The Pistons are tracking Caris LeVert's knee situation as a day-to-day concern, while the Lakers have already ruled out Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Austin Reeves. Detroit will not be thrilled with those last 2 losses, especially after a stretch where they were running through teams almost every night, but now they walk into a matchup with a banged-up Lakers squad that has been wobbling for a couple of weeks. The recent spread results for the Pistons have not been pretty. They have not been covering numbers consistently, but with such a soft line, you are almost just picking the straight-up winner here. That is what makes this spot interesting. Los Angeles is having a rough weekend. With Hachimura and Reeves sidelined, the scoring burden gets heavier on the remaining core. You can see that in the numbers. The Lakers have scored fewer than 110 points in 4 of their last 9 games, which is not what you want when you are facing an opponent that wants to speed you up and lean on pressure. Detroit keeps stacking wins, and as a youngish group, they tend to bother those older Lakers' legs with energy, length, and constant activity. The Lakers really do not want to see this kind of defensive pressure when they are already searching for consistent offense, because that combination can wear on you across 4 quarters. Honestly, if Los Angeles were at full strength, with everyone available, you could make a strong argument for them in this matchup, but missing pieces like Reeves and Hachimura leaves them much more vulnerable than usual. Once you weigh the health issues, the recent scoring struggles for the Lakers, and the way this number is priced, the Pistons come out as the side that is more likely to win and cover in this spot. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Detroit is sitting at 24-8 with a top-tier offense built around Cade Cunningham's playmaking and Jalen Duren's very efficient finishing around the rim. Los Angeles answers with Luka Doncic, leading the league at 33.7 points per game, and LeBron James still playing at an all-star level, so there is a lot of offensive punch on the floor. Pistons games have gone over the total in 17 of 30 contests, and Lakers games have cleared the number in 19 of 30. That matters because neither defense is exactly locking teams down. Detroit's youth shows up in transition, where they can lose track of assignments, and in half-court rotations that sometimes arrive a beat late. The Lakers, for their part, lean more on outscoring people than on stringing together tough defensive stands, especially when Doncic is carrying such a heavy offensive load. You can expect both teams to hunt mismatches early in possessions and to push the pace after misses, which creates more chances for quick hit buckets and scoring runs. Games like that tend to come in waves, with one team landing a flurry, then the other answering, and the scoreboard can climb faster than it feels in real time. With the offensive talent described, the history of overs for both teams, and the defensive soft spots on each side, this matchup shapes up as one where a higher total still has a good chance of being surpassed. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Sacramento Kings versus Los Angeles Clippers. The Kings are still without Domantas Sabonis and Zach LaVine, and Keegan Murray is on the injury report as questionable, while the Clippers have already ruled out Bradley Beal, Ivica Zubac, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, with John Collins also listed as questionable. Sacramento did not have to travel far after that one-sided 125-101 loss to the Lakers, and now they stick around to face the other team in Los Angeles, the Clippers, while chasing what would be just their fourth road win in 18 tries. Right now, it almost feels like the only real spark around this Kings group is watching Russell Westbrook go at one of his former teams, which says a lot about where things stand. They have been hammered by injuries, with Zach LaVine, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis all mentioned as being out at various points, and even when they have been closer to full strength, chemistry has been a serious issue. It genuinely feels like they are drifting toward a point where major changes are coming sooner rather than later. You could say something similar about the Clippers' overall season. They have clearly underperformed expectations, but unlike the Kings, their recent trend is finally pointing upward. They have put together 4 straight wins, taking care of the Lakers, Rockets, Blazers, and Pistons in just 8 days, which has given them a real sense of momentum. Kawhi Leonard just exploded for a career-high 55 points, a level of scoring that even the most optimistic Clippers fan probably did not have penciled in. The injury to Ivica Zubac is being framed as a blessing in disguise, with Brook Lopez stepping in and stretching the floor with his three-point shooting, and that spacing wrinkle is credited as a big part of why this version of the Clippers suddenly looks like a winner. The key here is that Los Angeles is moving in the right direction at a time when Sacramento is struggling just to keep games competitive. This matchup is a chance for the Clippers to keep that positive stretch alive instead of slipping back into the ugly habits that cost them earlier in the season. Their offense and defense are both described as having improved, with Kawhi's recent scoring outburst as a kind of symbol of that uptick. Meanwhile, the Kings are sitting near the bottom of the league in offense, defense, and rebounding, which is a brutal combination when you are also short-handed. If the Clippers can put together one long, sustained run, the analysis suggests they can separate comfortably and turn this into an easy margin. They have covered in 4 straight, and the Kings are 6-12 against the spread on one day of rest, which lines up with the idea that Sacramento struggles to respond quickly when the schedule gives them only a small breather. So, with the Kings missing key players, reeling from a blowout loss to a short-handed Lakers team, and the Clippers sitting on a 4-game win streak, the number opens with Los Angeles as a clear favorite. The line might feel a bit heavy for a Clippers team that was ice-cold at the start of the season, but the argument is that they have turned a corner and are now playing at a level that justifies laying a big spread. For a group that is just 10-21 straight up, asking them to cover double digits sounds like a lot, but all 4 wins in this current streak have come by double figures, and the expectation is that the good run can keep going against a Kings squad that has only 1 win in its last 7 road games. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Clippers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The pace is projected to be slow, with the Kings sitting around 18th in pace and the Clippers rated as the slowest team in the league. That naturally trims down the number of possessions, which is the first ingredient for a lower-scoring game. Neither side is built around lockdown defense as a primary identity, but the combination of a deliberate tempo and turnovers is highlighted as a reason points may not pile up quickly. When both teams are walking the ball up more often than not and coughing it up enough to kill a few possessions, it chips away at the total even if individual players are capable scorers. Poor offensive efficiency is another theme, suggesting that this matchup could turn into long stretches where shots rim out, offensive sets bog down, and neither offense really dominates for long periods. Trend-wise, the under has some support in these specific spots. The under is 6-3 following a Clippers win, which fits the idea that their games tend to tighten up a bit after a successful outing. The under is 9-6 when the Clippers are on equal rest with their opponent, and it is 11-7 when the Kings have one day of rest. All of that fits the picture of a slow-paced contest where the rhythm favors a total that lands on the lower side rather than exploding into a shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.